we got it. So we have section 1.1. We're going to talk about expressions and variables and so on. So in algebra, variables, okay, variables are symbols, usually they're letters, which are used to represent unspecified numbers. So for example, X can be a variable, Y, A, B, right? So many different things, and whatever. Now, an expression consists of sums and or products of numbers and a variable. So for example, if you have 1 plus 2, that's an expression. Something plus or minus something else. If you have x plus 3, that's an expression. Okay, something plus something else. Okay. Now, you see how in x plus 3, you have two things separated by a plus sign. Each of those things is called a term. So a term of an expression is a number, a variable, a product, or a quotient of numbers or variables. So for example, if I have x plus 3, the x is a term, the 3 is a term. All right, anything separated by a plus or a minus is a term of its own. If I have 4y, there are no pluses or minuses there, so that whole thing is a term. If I have x over 5 minus 5, what's one of the terms? Here. X over 5 is a term. 5 is another term. So two terms. All right? In this case, 2x is a term, 4 is another term. Now, there is a difference between those two terms. The difference is the 2x has a number and a variable. This is a variable term. The 4 is just a number, no variables, but we don't call it a number term. We call it a constant term. Cool? Fabulous. Okay. In a multiplication expression, if things are being multiplied, they are called factors. Right? So you multiply factors and then the result is a product. So if you're multiplying two things, there are many, many ways to write them. Like if you're multiplying x and y are factors, you can write it as xy, x times y, x times y in parentheses, x in parentheses, or both in parentheses. You guys okay with this? Any questions? Yeah. Okay. I know I asked two things that might have different, like opposite answers at the same time, right? Okay. Now, so we talked about addition, multiplication, subtraction, division. Well, what about something like this? If you have something like this is called a power. And this is something that actually some math teachers don't even know, that when you say power, it's the entire thing, x to the power of n. The whole thing is a power, okay? Now, we can also say, like if you say x to the power of n, it could also mean the exponent, but normally it's the whole thing. Now, what is the exponent? Well, the exponent indicates the number of times the base is a factor. So for example, if I have 2 to the 4, right? That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So look, each of these 2's is a factor, right? There are 4 factors, and that's because of the exponent of 4, right? So if I have something like this, x to the n, x is called the base. Now, often we have to translate words into number sentences and back and forth, right? So I think you guys have seen this before. There are many words that are used for addition. More than, some, plus, increased by, added to, right? There are lots of words that are used for subtraction. Some for multiplication, some for division, right? You've seen these before? Yes? Why don't we try to do a couple of these? So look at what we have here. We need to write a verbal expression like in English, in coherent English for each of these. So this one, right? I could say 6 minus 3 times P. Is there another way of saying this? Yeah. Right, so 6 minus 3 multiplied by P. 6 minus the product of 3 and P, right? Can I say 3 times P subtracted from 6?
No.
Yes, I can, right? So I can say 3 times, so let's write that down. Or 3 times P, so that's 3P, subtracted from 6. Oh, what is that? Okay. Okay, so make sure your cell phones are in airplane mode. I don't want any, okay. All right? Yeah. Okay. So subtract, so for example, if I say x minus 3, that's 3 subtracted from x. Okay. Okay. So let's do this one. Okay, can somebody tell me what you think this could be? Give me, yep.
7 plus r to the third power.
Sounds good to me. That's actually exactly what I have. 7 plus r to the third power. Now, you can say 7 more than, 7 added to, whatever, okay? Okay, anybody want to do the next one? Yep.
I just have a question for
Yeah.
For B. Couldn't you also say 7 plus r squared?
Cubed.
Cubed, sorry.
You can say that. You can say that. Yep. Uh-huh. Yep. B to the power of 8 divided by, ooh, 5. Yeah.
How do you, like, this is a little more fast, but, like, how do we turn in our homework? Do we, like, rip it out of the book?
Yeah. I mean, not the book, the notebook.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Not the.
isn't it, like, in the book?
Oh, I'll show you. I'm gonna go over it. I'm gonna go over it. Okay.
Wait, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now go to the next page. And I want you to do A. Now we're gonna go backwards. You have the number, you have the words. You need to write it as a number sentence. 3 more than a number. Yep.
3 plus
3 plus
X.
x.
Good job.
It could be z, it could be n, it could be, you know, any other. Exactly. It could also be x plus 3. Okay, it could also be x plus 3. Okay, 8 more than twice a number. 8 more than twice a number. Yeah.
8 plus x to the power of 2.
So twice means 2 times. So 2x. Yeah. 2x. 8 plus 2x. Now, here we go. 6 less than. When we're dealing with subtraction and division, in subtraction it happens a lot because there are different ways to say things. It's very important that you interpret correctly. So when you have 6 less than, that's minus 6. You're taking away. So 6 less than 4 times a number, it'll be 4x minus 6 because it's 6 less than. If you do 6 minus, then it'll be 4x less than, right? So it's a different thing. Okay.
So 6 minus 4x, right?
6 minus 4x will not work, right? Now, if we had, right, like if we had, so let's go up here. If we have the difference, right? If you have the difference of, then you have to keep the same order. Right? So if you have the difference of 6 and x, 6 minus x. You have to keep that order. Okay. So here we go. Which algebraic expression represents the following verbal expression? So here we go. Sometimes these can get a little complicated, so we do part by part. The product of 4 and a number cubed minus the quotient of 7 and twice the number. Okay, overwhelming, right? So let's go and do bit by bit. The product of 4 and a number cubed. Product means what? Multiply. So product of 4 and a number cubed. Okay? Minus the quotient of 7 and twice the number. So is quotient plus, minus, times, or divide? Division. The quotient of, so quotient, division, like a fraction, 7 and twice the number. Okay, now look, here is something important. In the beginning, you had the product of 4 and a number cubed. So you chose your number, the variable, to be x. And now this says quotient of 7 and twice the number. When it says the number, it means it's referring to the same variable that you used before, right? So you can't have said 4x cubed and then here 7 minus 2y, right? Because it's the number, so it's the same number as before. Now, if it had said the product of 4 and a number cubed minus the quotient of 7 and twice another number, then if you used x here, you would have used y there, or z there, or n, or b, or whatever. Okay? Okay. Let's wait on that for a minute. Okay, so this is this. Are we okay with this?
So do we circle it?
So now, yeah, so which one of these is this going to be?
B.
B it is, right? So in your answer, you know, you would say B or whatever. Okay,
What about
fabulous.
these?